Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing a deep decode on a truly fascinating structural blueprint. You know, we hear about history all the time, but it is super rare that we get to see the actual architectural planning of how a group intends to keep a legendary military aviation legacy alive. So today, we're looking straight at the foundational documents and visual plans for the Black Bat Squadron Association, or simply the BBSA. Picture this. Generations of people, from elders leaning on walking canes right down to young children, holding hands, all looking up together toward vintage P-2V and C-12 aircraft. It really sets the emotional core for what we're talking about today, introducing this profound generational vision behind the newly proposed BBSA. It's essentially about looking forward, but only by fiercely remembering what flew before. To understand exactly how they plan to pull this off, here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with Honor and Spirit, break down their 3 core missions, check out their visual identity system, look at the 3 membership tiers, and finally, wrap up with Sustainable Inheritance. Okay, Section 1, Honor and Spirit, the Black Bat Legacy. Let's dive right into the profound emotional anchor behind all of this. When you read through the foundational source documents, the primary motivation is just crystal clear. This whole initiative, it's about the descendants actively taking the baton. It's built on this deep reverence for the past to inherit the Black Bat spirit and to honor the sacrifices and the military soul of the Republic of China Air Force. This definitely isn't just passive memory. We're looking at an active, highly structured passing of a deeply respected torch to the next generation. Moving on to Section 2, the BBSA's 3 core missions. Let's shift from that emotional why to the highly practical what. The association's day-to-day operations are beautifully organized around 3 sequential goals. First up is fellowship. That means creating a permanent, natural big family for the children and descendants of the Black Bat Squadron. Second is maintenance, specifically working as a unit to maintain and protect the historical status of their ancestors. And third is inheritance, which means passing down that specific spirit of dedication and sacrifice. It's actually a brilliant progression when you think about it. Gather the people, protect the history, and then pass on the values. And they've taken these concepts and grounded them into a highly organized visual manifesto. Fellowship gets represented by a handshake, maintenance by an open book of history, and inheritance is symbolized by a winged star emblem. It takes this grand, sweeping historical vision and tells every single potential member exactly what they are signing up to do. Which brings us to Section 3, Exclusive Visual Identity System. So how do you make an abstract concept like historical legacy feel real and cohesive to a modern crowd? Well, the blueprint shows they're doing this through highly targeted design for their annual gatherings. They aren't just making a logo, they are building an entire ecosystem of design. The planning documents specifically list a 16:9 commemorative poster, sweeping association banners, individualized wearable membership cards or badges, and a generational inheritance poster. By creating this unified visual identity, they're basically transforming a group of individuals into a cohesive, everlasting family unit that feels incredibly official and enduring. Next is Section 4, Uniting Strength through 3 membership tiers. This brings up a really important question. Who actually makes up this community, and how does it function? The BBSA cleverly structures its community into 3 highly specific tiers. First, you have family members forming the core roster, so direct squadron members, their kids, and relatives. Next, the participating members tier allows friends or general Air Force personnel to formally apply. And finally, sponsoring members opens the door for outside individuals or interested institutions to lend their financial or structural support. It's a great system because it ensures that everyone, from a direct descendant to a supportive historical institution, has a clearly defined role. Finally, Section 5, Generational Inheritance and Sustainable Development. So what is all this organization, visual design, and tiering actually aiming to achieve in the long run? The ultimate destination is captured in this striking 4-part manifesto. Remember history, be grateful to ancestors, pass down through generations, sustainable development. What's really fascinating to me is that final phrase. It makes the bold argument that actively remembering the past isn't about being stuck in history. Rather, it's the absolute crucial engine for sustaining a community's development well into the future. As we wrap up this explainer on the BBSA's organizational blueprint, we're left with a pretty profound reflection. We've just seen exactly how one group plans to systematically preserve the legacy of the Black Bat Squadron through careful mission planning, visual identity, and structured community building. But honestly, it forces us to ask a much broader question. How will the next generation continue to protect the historical status of our unsung heroes? Because it takes way more than just memory, right? As we've seen today, it takes a blueprint, it takes structure, and it takes active participation. So think about the legacies in your own world for a second. What blueprint is being used to keep them alive?